What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight. Wanted to give you an update on Kentucky Lake. We actually have that done now. It's out on the site, simplisticfishing.com. In the video tonight, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of everything that's going to be included on the card as far as the files and all that good stuff. You guys are going to love it. Let's go. Before we jump into the breakdown, I'll show you guys what we did for Kentucky Lake. I do want to let you know you can go out here to simplisticfishing.com. Once you do that, you can either click on the waypoints button right here, or you can go up here and do the shop now button, or you can just hit the search button. If I hit the search button, I go to Kentucky Lake, where I just start typing in Kentucky. It'll take me to Kentucky Lake, and then you'll see this page that will come up. When you're on this page, there's a couple different things you can look at here if you're kind of curious what all it includes. This is kind of the back page here. It talks about, what's included with offshore and fish attractors. But if you click this image right here, this will actually show you all of the waypoints that we have, kind of a snapshot of it. Obviously, you can't zoom in or zoom out. You'll get this file when you get the file from Simplistic Fishing. I'll send you the Google Earth file so you can do all the things. But this is one of the images. You also have the upper side, so this is the upper, and then you also have the lower side. This would be the lower side of it. So before we jump into it, another thing you can do here is you can go over here to the right side, and if you just want to do the digital file, you can select the digital file. This would just be for the upper side. I believe that, I can't remember the name of that highway. We'll look at it here in just a second when we go to Google Earth, but it's that highway all the way up to the dam, and then that highway down to the next bridge basically is the lower side. So if I go over here to the lower side, it'll show me what's on the lower side as well. So some really good stuff. Let's go ahead and jump over into Google Earth and let's talk about what all these waypoints are. Well, I'm super excited to be sharing this with you. This is the Google Earth portion for Kentucky Lake. And as I showed you before on the website, you can just go out there and get that. That'll give you the card or the digital file, whichever one you want. But you take the card, once you create the card, you take the card, you put it in your graph, and then all these waypoints will be on your graph when you're out there on the lake. It will make fishing so much more simpler for you and to really be able to target certain types of patterns and things like that. So let's talk about how we have Kentucky Lake broke down. Again, I have the upper side. This is going to be from highway, I said 70 something, I was way off, highway 68 north, all the way up here to highway 62 where the dam is. And then you've got the lower side, which is going to be highway 68, and then down all the way down to highway 79. So that is going to be the lower section. And then again, the upper section is going to be highway 68 north. Now, when you put them all together, this is what they look like all together. But before we do that, let's go ahead and just go to the upper side. And I'm going to zoom in here and just kind of show you what all we have here. So I'm going to start unchecking some of this. And the first thing that I put in here when I put all these together is I go out to the state page or whatever fishing page you have for that lake, and I really look and see if I can find any types of coordinates for brush piles, stake beds, stuff like that. And in this case, got really lucky. Kentucky does a great job of supplying that, so I was able to take their GPX file and bring it directly in and merge it in with ours. So these are all the different fish attractors that are out here on Kentucky Lake, and there are a ton of them. And what's cool is when you go in here, like let's say we go into this little area right here, if we draw the water back to, I think it's 2019 was one of our best images, if I remember right, maybe not. I might have to bring it back up to 2022, but I'll bring it up to here. In some of these, you can actually see the stake beds. If you zoom in really close, yeah, right here, you can see there's a stake bed right there. It's very, very hard to see, but you can definitely tell there's stuff here. They've got a lot of stuff out here. Pretty much everywhere you see a major creek channel coming in, you see these brush piles, stake beds, whatever it is that they put out here. So while we're talking about that, let's talk about the other thing over here on the left-hand side. You'll notice I just clicked it. It's channels and ditches. So if you look at the channels and ditches on Kentucky Lake, this is going to be all the green lines. So if I take off these attractors, you're going to see all these different green lines. Well, these green lines are basically where we've marked the channels. Now, we can't mark every single channel One, because we have a limitation of 50 channels, so we can't go more than 50 on the helix units. But two, we only mark the channels that where we can tell that they're still there, they're still present, and they should still be able to collect fish. So we're not going to mark every single one of them, but if they're significant enough and we can really see them, we're going to mark them for you guys, and you'll have those on there, and those will show up on your graph as well. But like I was talking about, those attractors, they're placed perfectly. If you find a creek channel like right here and you follow it up, you start seeing all these different stake beds, all kinds of good stuff. So you've got plenty of offshore opportunities on this lake. You could probably fish these things for years and never cover all of them that they put out there for you. So we've also got, on top of the fish attractors, cover. Now cover can be anything from a sunken boat maybe to, you know, a laydown or debris or just something that, you know, is some type of a cover that the fish can hide around. This is a sunken boat that we marked out here on the imaging in 2019. So you can see where we marked that. You've got the laydown that's over here. So we've marked all of this stuff all throughout the entire lake. We've gone down the bank line and marked all of this stuff for you. Brush piles, if we can see them, we marked them for you. For example, over here, you got a couple brush piles that Kentucky didn't mark, but you can tell there's definitely something there. So you've got a lot of different things to go look at, tons and tons and tons of waypoints that are out here. Now we take off the cover. What we also do is we go out and we use the Navionics boating app to show us offshore hotspots. And what we do on that is we basically go out there, we look at the contour lines, we pick all the high percentage areas, or, you know, most of them. I can't say we picked all of them for Kentucky Lake because this lake is way too big, but we picked a bunch of them. And then basically what we do is we take them from Navionics mobile app and we convert them over and we bring them over here into Google Earth to be able to create an entire file that has your offshore stuff, it has your Google Earth stuff, and it also has your Kentucky parks, all those different brush piles, attractors, all that stuff, all merged into one file so that you can include those and put those in on your graph. So let's take a look at the offshore. The offshore is a little bit trickier. When you import the offshore into Google Earth, you have to show the Google Earth image at the date that it was done on the import. And since I just imported this, you're going to notice that the date up here at the top is going to go all the way up to 2023. And then when I click this again, all these offshore spots are going to come up. Now, a lot of these spots are points, they're ledges, they're drop-offs, there's just all kinds of different things. You know, all the different things you can think of from an offshore standpoint. We went ahead and we've marked for you on there. So you have a lot of offshore opportunities. I mean, if you just take this offshore stuff, which you have a ton of waypoints here to go look at, and you take that and combine that with your attractors that Kentucky's put out there for you, I don't think in a lifetime you could fish all those things. I mean, it would take you a long, long time to do that. So you've got a lot of good stuff out there for that. We've also got all of the ramps marked as well. So if you're like me, or you've ever heard me do any lake breakdowns, the ramp pattern can actually be a pretty good pattern, especially on those lakes that don't have a lot of rock. The fish will relate to those ramps. Plus, it's a good thing to know where the ramps are in case you get any trouble out on the river or out on the lake. And then last but not least, rocks. Now this could be shallow rocks, this could be rock piles, this could be rocks on top of humps. It just depends on whatever we saw from the Google Earth imagery where we saw rocks, we went ahead and marked them for you. So let's say like right in here, you've got a little ramp over there that looks like I might have missed, maybe not have, might be there. But you've got rocks right in here in the corner. So we basically have gone in, here's some more rock right there, there's some more rock back in there. We've gone in, we've marked all these different areas where you can find rocks. So if you're on a rock pattern, you could easily just come in here and say, just show me the rocks on this upper end. This shows you where all the rocks are on the upper end, and then you can fine tune if you want rocks on a point, whatever it is, you can fine tune your plan there. So that is everything for the upper side. The lower side is very similar. It's going to be the same type thing. You've got your attractors on the lower side, which are right here. There's quite a few of them. And then you've also got your channels and ditches, which we talked about. That's going to be all these green lines. You've got your cover. That's going to be all the tires, debris, laydowns. I called some things some silos, but I think it's those things that they tie the barges to, but I just don't know what you guys call those things. So if you see silos, that's basically what it is. Those big silos that stick up out of the ground that they tie up to. We've also got a lot of offshore hotspots on this one as well. If I double click this, again, it's going to move that date up for us. And then I'll click this and it's going to pop them all up here for us. But you can see we have a ton of offshore stuff out here on Kentucky Lake. This one looks like a lot of fun. We've also got all the ramps marked again, and then the rocks like we talked about last time. So that is really it for the Kentucky Lake breakdown. At some point in time, I'll probably come out and do a full video lake breakdown of this entire lake. It'll take a big series. It'll take us a long time to do, but we will be back to do that. But I wanted to make sure that I got this out there to you guys, let you know that Kentucky Lake is now done. I'm moving over to Lake Barkley, and we've got several others that were coming out as well. For you Texas guys that are listening, JB Thomas is coming out as well here pretty soon, and we just did Palo Pinto. So looking forward to seeing you guys out on the water. Hope you catch your PB. And until next time, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and come back and see us. Take it easy.